Hey there, guys. We're going to be going back to the Final Fantasy VIII Vision World final boss, and we're going to be doing a rank 1 Dark Clear this time. Now, in this video, helping me out is going to be MostlySean. So you can say hello, Sean.
Good evening.
So the Dark team that I've wanted to run, I really wanted to use either Saul or Reagan for the Dark team. I don't have either of these units, but my friend Sean has both of them. So I got with him, I planned out a team, and he built it for me, and we are going to be together doing a rank 1 clear. Sean is going to be playing the team because he does own the units. I'll be recording that, and we'll be doing the clear. I'll have the turn chart in the comments. We're going to go over the gear at the end, talk about some unit swap potentials, etc. So let's go ahead and get into the fight, Sean. And thanks again for doing this. This is kind of a neat idea that I can, do videos about content even though if I don't own the units. So on turn 1, we're going to be doing setup. The boss does the fixed attack on turn 1, some AoE physicals, etc. So to deal with all that, we're going to use Cecil to Omni cover. We start him in the base form, and then we go to the shift form, and then we cover Shelga and then Omni cover. Make sure you do his Omni cover as the last action in the turn so it doesn't get overwritten. So Shelga, cover, and then Omni cover.
Make sure your Shelga is +3 as well, because mine definitely wasn't before I recorded this video.
Now, we're going to be doing a turn 3 clear, because while you could go to turn 4 or 5 if you really want to stretch it out, and some teams kind of have to, I really prefer quicker clears because why go to turn 5 if you don't have to? And this team works totally fine on a turn 3 clear. So we're going to do that. But because of that, we don't have a lot of time to do the chain score. So we're going to do that on the first turn by using everyone to do both setup skills as well as chaining. So Ultima is going to use Extreme Nova. So ways to give her that would be things like the materials from the old events, Dwayne's STMR, or the Lone Swordsman Vision card. Reagan is going to start in the shift form for some auto buffing and then go to the base form and do his LB. Saul is going to, in this order, in the base form, Quadcast, we're going to do double Bolting Strike, Wave of Despair, and then Duskfall. Dark Rain is going to do double Suppression for Bolting Strike and then one and only Ruler. And then Ibarra will do her base form LB, which is also Extreme Nova frames. So we're going to go ahead and just chain all these together. And you want to try to not gear your off forms for damage, because we don't want to kill the boss. And if you gear like Ibarra's base form with max damage, etc., you might actually wind up killing the boss. But as long as Ibarra is pretty much naked in the base form, you're going to be fine here. So as long as we don't kill the boss, we're good. And we did chain over 100. So perfect on that turn. And here's the gravity. Now, we didn't Nethicite the gravity. If you're using someone with a really high mitigation like Cecil, you don't have to use Nethicite. You can just absorb it, and it's fine. You only need Nethicite for using like weaker tanks. But okay, so we're going to be killing the boss on turn 3. So we're going to be getting set up for the kill on turn 2. Now, this turn, there's going to be a double AoE physical that we are not going to Mirage. But Ilmatil is evading, so is Cecil. Ibarra's base form is evading. Rain is going to Mirage it with his own personal Mirage. And then Reagan and Saul are using Auto Mirage from Minor's TMR. So the whole party, for the most part, is mitigating the physical attack. So let's go ahead and get set up for this turn. So Cecil is going to go ahead and Nethicite. Now, as long as you're not using magic on anyone else, it doesn't matter when in the turn you Nethicite. But if you're using things like black, green, or white magic, you want to always Nethicite as the last action. Ilmatio can start setting up the machine killers on the parties. We're going to use the good machine killer on 2 of the DPS. So it doesn't really matter which 2. We're going to do Rain and Ibarra first this time. Reagan or Reagan. Yeah, we'll do Reagan first. So Reagan on this turn is going to do his 150 Amplify, his LB Phil Magnus, and his modifier cooldown, I'm Not the Man. Rain, Dark Rain, can quad cast. We're going to do his 150 amp, his personal Mirage, and then finally the double stack of his boost. Ibarra in the base form this turn. Now, she's got full evade gear in the base form. She's going to do Wish of Vengeance for the stat and LB buff, a Noon for the personal imbue, and then her Magnus for the 150 amplify and focus. Red-Eyed Saul is going to shift here. We're going to do his quad cast. We're going to do his field, his 150 amplify, the darkness cannon, which is going to imbue him with dark, and then access sensor. I can't condenser. Yeah, condenser for the LB modifier. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then Cecil will do his Nethicite. Okay, so a physical hit may hit someone in the party here. If it does, it should be minimal damage. We Nethicited the gravity, recovering the magic, and there we go. I think it's only one AoE physical, so actually no one took damage. So this turn, we're now going to kill the boss. So the first thing we're going to do is Ilmatio is going to put up killers on the rest of the party. So we need it on Saul and Reagan, the 250 machine killer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that first. And now we're going to get everyone set up. So Ibarra is going to shift and do the shifted LB. Dark Rain is going to SLB. Saul is going to shift at LB. Flaming Reagan, or whatever, Blades of Flame Reagan is going to base form LB. And Cecil in the base form is going to triple Absolute Mirror of Equity. Now, we're not going to chain this quite yet. So, based on the calculations I've done with Sean's units, this party has a damage range of between 14.3 billion to 22.2 billion. So that's a pretty big damage range. The average damage is 18.2. So average or better, we're going to perfect score. But we're going to pause the video here just in case we get like a really terrible roll, and we're going to resume the video when it does average or better for this party. So see you guys in a moment. All right, guys, let's go ahead, Sean, and give it a try. So for the chaining, we're going to chain Reagan and Cecil together. We're going to be sending Rain and Ibarra pretty much at the same time as them. And then Saul is going to go just a moment after because he's very quick. So let's give it a go and see what kind of damage we deal. Okay. And the damage range is hopefully high, but it should be 18.03 or better. That's our goal here. 19.5. There we go. So there, this team, you shouldn't have to variance roll very much. We did a try earlier, and we got like a 16 roll. That was a very terrible roll, but that worked. So, all right, Sean, let's see the damage breakdown. So I'll real quick go over the potential of each unit. So Dark Rain, with the gear we're using and the team we're using, has a range of 4.2 to 5.9. He got basically perfect. That's about as high as Rain can possibly go. That's an amazing roll on Rain. Ibarra is 4.8 to 7.9, so she actually slightly underperformed. Saul has a range of 2.4 to 4.1. He also got nearly perfect. Amazing, amazing. And Reagan is 3.1 to 4.3, and he got basically the minimum. So Reagan real bad, Rain and Saul perfect, and Ibarra pretty much average. So there it is. That's your damage range. Okay, let's get into the gear, Sean. And there's your perfect score with the Dark Team. Okay, so first of all, some unit swaps. If you don't have Saul, he can be swapped with a strong Renoa. The thing is, on this turn 3 clear, Renoa is not going to have time to do her base LB, the Amplify card, the Shift LB, and killing. So if you're using Renoa, you're going to want her to, on turn 1, use the World Ender Vision card for a 100 self-only Dark Amplify. On turn 2, you're going to want to use her Shifted LB, and on turn 3, you can use either the her Quad Meteor skill, you can use Quad Apocalypse, or you can use Quad Dark Red, depending on what you're most comfortable chaining. but you're not going to have a throwing in peril if you do that. So you're going to have to give her either a katana or a great sword or something like that from someone else doing in perils. But all right, let's go ahead and show the gear, Sean. So for Dark Rain, he's maxed on everything. He's using a dual wield build, pretty typical. And we can just go through and show briefly. And again, you can always pause if you want to see more details. There we go. It's dual wield is a lot easier these days with Love for Trabia and Konshira's STMR. And what vision card did we use on him? We used the Indomitable Strategist. And again, if you don't have these cards, just use the best cards you've got. Like his own card is totally fine as well. But these global cards do have slightly higher magic. And he's maxed on everything. Maxed LB, maxed dual wield, maxed killer, etc. Looking good.
Yeah. The vision card here also does give the Machina Killer that I think he's missing otherwise. So here you'd probably need to swap out for maybe some chain speed would be the play there. And if you don't have Everlasting Fortune, the swap would probably be, was it Final Fantasy IV Laswell's?
Yep. Yep, that gives 100 LB damage to mages. And Ibarra in the base form. Now, you don't want to gear her base form for max damage, because again, you don't want to accidentally kill the boss on turn 1. So just full evasion so she avoids the attack on turn 2. Other than that, base form not important. And the shift form, we are using just the best vision card. Whatever one you have is the best. And we gave her all the best gear for Clash gear because she is the highest damage on this party. So you always want to focus your Clash gear on your strongest unit. And there we go. Just, LB damage, machine killer, etc. And then Saul in the base form. In the base form, we're using Antiquated Uniform or something like Rico's Wingsuit or the Oracle's Codex or the Calming Garb. Something to auto-mirage so that on turn 2, he avoids that physical damage. The Antiquated Uniform is a 5-star TMR. So that's very easy to get.
Yeah, Rico's Wingsuit you can pick up pretty much anywhere. It's basically free.
And then shift form. Now we're giving him a katana build for obvious reasons. He doesn't have his own weapon in peril. We're getting a 40% katana in peril from Ibarra. So there we go. And if you don't have a good secondary katana, like you only got one Ibarra, you don't have Cleomes, if you don't have Calls, etc., you can also give him a greatsword. Because Reagan is using Greatsword in peril, you could do Rain and Fina's Greatsword. It does give 100 LB damage and all that. It's a little bit lower on the flat magic, but if you don't have katanas, it's an option. And you also want to give him things like Equip Hat, Equip Armor, Equip Helm, whatever, because his gearing is pretty atrocious. But we made it work, and he did 4 billion damage, so he definitely hit pretty hard.
Yeah, and remember that he uses physical killers.
For his LB, yep. And then Max Machine Killer, and I think he's on Max on LB damage. Yeah, he is, yes. The UI.
It's really scuffed right there.
And then Blades of Reagan. Now, real quick, I will say, you don't need both of these. Actually, Blades of Flame Reagan, we didn't even use his break. We used Saul's break. It's the same thing, pretty much. So if you don't have him, you can swap him out for Dio. Deoxys would be a great swap out. And there we go. Yeah, he does have that. We didn't actually use it. But and if you don't have Saul, you can use him instead as your breaker. And Saul can be swapped out for, Lynx or Deoxys again. Maybe even Sephiroth. Although if Ibarra is your leader skill, Sephiroth
would be a good swap.
Which one?
Shantoto.
Oh, Shantoto, absolutely. Yeah, Shantoto would be great here if you have her.
Okay.
And then again, the base form using some auto mirage, some auto buffing, just for the turn 2 attack. We can ignore that. And then also in the shift form, show that he is using his STMR. That is very important for his modifier buff. Or use Titus's TMR. And then base form is damage. He does use great swords. He's a dual wielder with 8 times cap. Make sure you're using his event cloak. And other than that, yeah, he's damage. And I forget, what damage did he deal again? I think he did about 3.5 or something.
Yeah, he was 3.3. He was low man on the totem pole, but he also gets way less flat stats from Ibarra's leader skills.
Yep, I was about to say, Ibarra's leader skill is not as friendly to physical units, but he still did good.
He's all right. I mean, let's just be real. He's here to chain. Reagan's trash, so.
And that
My
pretty
boy
much is.
Saul beat him. My boy Saul.
That is an important thing to mention, though, is the chaining, because this party is using a bunch of one-hit finishers, so we kind of needed Reagan to chain, because no one's actually chaining except Reagan and Cecil, so it was kind of important. And then Cecil in the base form, not too important. You know, we tossed a sword on him. He did like 30,000 damage, so yay. But his TMR is important in the base form. And then shift form, just as much spirit as you can, and the Sword of Kings is important for the turn 2 gravity. Other than that, as high as you can on spirit. And you want 100 earth resist as well. We're getting that from the Prideful Incarnate. And then some evasion. I think he's at like 80% evasion, so he got hit once or twice. But as you saw, it was fine. And Sean, you're killing me here. You're killing me. Best boy Cecil didn't door pod him. You didn't even pod his HP at all. I love Cecil. How can you do this?
He takes more damage if you pot his HP.
I don't think it works. I guess it technically does for gravity, huh? I guess that really is true
I
for
knew
gravity.
you were going to say something, and I came in with the big brain.
Wow, that is so accurately true. It really is.
Yeah, vision card.
Just a spirit
Pretty
card.
much
Yep.
anything with as much spirit as you can. Less HP if you can.
And then Ilmatil was our passive provoker for the single target stuff. Full evasion, status immune for the paralyzed attack. And other than that, oh yeah, and Extreme Nova. And again, the Materias, the Lone Swordsman Vision card, or the Dwayne's STMR all give Extreme Nova frames. The only one that's permanent is the Dwayne STMR. So there you go. And that'll give you the chain count.
Yeah, and if that's the case, you'll want to swap this out for, what, Equip Sword?
That or Frevia's TMR, because who actually went and did Madam's Mansion?
Did I just out myself?
Yeah, there it is. So there's a dark team that, again, this team very comfortably overcaps. 22 billion high roll. It's turn 3 clear, so very quick and easy to run for variant if you have to run it a few times. And there it is. I wish I could have shown it on my own, but I don't have Saul or Reagan. I kind of wish I did. I was really tempted to pull from them when they came out, and I thought about it, but I didn't. Kind of regretting it a little bit. Because they're really good.
I got them through no choice of my own. They just showed up, and I was like, okay.
But all right, turn chart will be in the comments, and maybe, next week I can find some more friends to show some other teams. I can maybe put together like a lightning team or other stuff. We'll see what happens. Thanks again, Sean, for helping me out with this.
Anytime.
All right. See you guys next time.
Later.